Yes, so from my previous video, the one specifically about hyperglycemia and why we should reduce our carbohydrate diet, I had series of questions in the comment section and in my DM. So I really want to attend to a particular one that was trying to explain that some people, they eat heavy carbohydrate meals in the morning, especially in the olden days. Let me put it that way. They eat maybe pounded yam in the morning, pounded yam in the afternoon, pounded yam in the night, and they are perfectly okay. They do not have hyperglycemia as stated in that video. Now, the first thing I would like to say is that when it comes to food, it is just good that we do ourselves the favor of not comparing ourselves with another, because number one, the person you are comparing yourself with could have a better glucose variability. That means the number of times the person eats is different from the number of times you are eating, and the volume of glucose that is released into your blood is different from the volume of glucose released into the person's blood. So let us just take it as, don't compare yourself with another when it comes to food. However, in those days, their lifestyle, they had better lifestyle. They had better lifestyle. So when they eat the pounded yam in the morning, they probably would take a few kilometers walk to their farmlands. They walk for some hours, take their lunch, and then they still work, and then they take another journey of a few kilometers back to their home. You see, what walking does to your blood sugar is that the muscles, your muscles as you're working, the muscles, especially the muscles of the leg, are taking out sugar from your blood. They are taking out sugar from your blood and using it for their own energy source. So there is no sugar and that is going to be able to probably shoot up anywhere, because as you're eating it, you're utilizing it, and that is actually the best way to live. But in our present day, we no longer have good lifestyle. We don't embrace these good lifestyles of eating and engaging in physical activity. Sometimes we eat and then we have to sit in front of our laptops because we have a lot to do. Sometimes we eat and our life is just sedentary. We have a lot to do online. So we are no longer as active, as nothing is really engaging us physically except mentally, as it used to do in those olden days. So that's a major reason why we shouldn't compare ourselves with them. Our lifestyle has really changed, and so our muscles has nothing, as we are not engaging them, so they are not going to be extracting anything seriously from your blood. That is number one. Then number two, most of the foods they eat in those days are actually very close to nature. It's a very important factor to note. How close is my food to nature? How close is your food to nature? Most of the foods that we now eat these days, most of even our proteinous foods, are closer to machines, are closer to chemicals than they are to nature. So we must look, at how close is my food to nature. Most of the foods that those people in, will I say, villages, so to say, eat are very close to nature. Sometimes the yam is harvested, the leaves they are going to use for the soup was plucked that day, the tomatoes was probably picked from the farm, the pepper. In fact, even the meat could be a freshly hunted meat, in the farm that same day that they're going to use. And then for their condiments, it is likely going to be a fermented condiment, maybe a fermented soybean, a fermented iru or giri or something that is going to be used to cook it. So how close is your food to nature? Because these people, I tell you, their foods are really close to nature, and that is another factor that we must note. So how close is your own food to nature? It also impacts on how healthy or how unhealthy your food might eventually result. So that is the second point to note. Now, the third point to note is that in these so-called heavy carbohydrate meals that they are eating, there is approximately no food additives, no chemicals, no preservative, no cholesterol, no refined sugars, no refined oils, no trans fats, because these are the chemicals that really lead to, they are very dangerous chemicals that they find their way into our food through processing. So, and when they find their way into your food, they also have negative impact and tend to increase the possibilities of some of these hyperglycemia, hypertension, cardiovascular disease and all the likes, because all these things are actually interwoven. So the presence of food additives is another factor, and that's the third factor. Most of the foods these people eat they are free from food additives. They are free from preservatives. That is the number 3. And then number 4, on a final note, is the fact that some of these foods, they clear their bushes. They use, the normal cutlasses and hoes to clear their farmlands and everything. So they really do not use weed. They don't use weed, weed removing chemicals. So presently there is a lot of issues about glyphosate and its negative effect and everything. So some of these chemicals as a way of affecting the overall health condition of a person. So that's why I said that you don't compare yourself with another person when it comes to eating or when it comes to food. Just do the healthy way and try as much as possible to take control of your pot, because this thing is actually a personal journey. And I said that again because of 3 main factors. Number 1 is the glucose variability, the number of times you eat. Number 2 is your, genetics, your life generally. What did you inherit from your parents? What I inherited, my bloodline, my gene is different from your own gene. You understand? So our resistant level to some of these diseases actually differs. Some people have an history of high blood pressure in their family. Some people have an history of diabetes in their family, and those are factors that could make it of a high probability of you to come down with those diseases if you don't take proper caution. So that's about that. And then number 3, what I would also love to add, why you should not compare yourself with another, is the fact that you don't know the caution the person is taking with respect to, helping himself or herself to overcome free radicals. So this is your food and you, and I would like to say, please follow the page, please share, please send in your recommendations, send in your comments. I will give, the answers within my capacity as much as I can. And thank you, and see you in my next one. Bye bye.